Hi you guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, what's up? It's Fox like Karma, Karma the Fox, Cameo the Done, yada done dada, however you want to know me. It is your girl, and as you can tell by the title, this is going to be my second Shop My Stash video. This is actually going to be the first Shop My Stash video of the year. I'm excited for this series because I really want to grow my makeup collection, but also I just love makeup collection series. I love anything dealing with showcasing makeup and your favorite products. So let's get right into this video. What we have right here is the makeup that you guys seen in my last Shop My Stash video. Now, I'm not gonna lie, some products may not be up here because, you know, I just maybe put it back or something like that without really noticing that I did. Like if you guys would notice, the brushes that was normally here in the back are gone because they have to be washed. Starting with the primer, I have these two primers here, the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Water Drop Primer and the Coconut. And then I have the Pore Blur Primer, the Revolution Pore Blur Primer. Now, the Revolution Primer wasn't really a favorite of mine. I don't really relate with this primer much, so I want to like it. I really want to love it, but I don't absolutely love it. I don't hate it as well. So we're going to put this back in our collection. Also, the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Water Drop Primer. I believe this primer made my pores really spill through. I think this primer or the foundation were the culprits for that. So I don't really want to try this again. I'm going to add this back to my collection. I am going to go ahead and throw the makeup sponge away. I have these two setting sprays here, the Mario Badescu Chamomile and Lavender and the Black Radiance Matte Setting Spray. Honestly, I haven't used the matte setting spray that much. I've used it, but not that often. And the Mario Badescu, you guys know I'm only trying to get rid of it. So I have literally a tiny bit more, and then I'm going to add this to my empties. I'm going to be adding this back because I'm literally almost done, but I'm going to be taking this down as well. Moving on, I'm just going to go over these right here. This is my Essence Black Under Eye Pencil. Then I have the e.l.f. liner in black, and then I also have some mascara right here from Essence. I'm going to take the mascara out, but I'm going to leave everything else. And then I have the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer that I still haven't touched since it's been up here. I really just want to use the rest of this and add it to my empties as well. So I'm going to leave this up here on my display. And then I also have the NYX concealer that I like to use as a base. This is in Fair. I'm going to leave this up here as well. I have the MAC brow pomade in Deep Dark Brunette. I probably should have got it in just brown. I'm going to leave this up here as well for my brows. And then here I just have a eyelash glue, and then I have the matte concealer that I was telling you guys that I want to keep up here just because, like, this is just my safe zone. So a few of these products you guys are going to always see in my stash because I'm going to always try to reach for them. Up here on the lipstick display, I have the L'Oreal Pro lipstick. This is in Yum and Sweet Tooth. I'm going to go ahead and take both of these down. I'm also going to take down these two. This is just the e.l.f. lip lacquer in the shade Wild Rose. I love this. This is like literally one of my favorite lip lacquers. And then I have the MAC Retro collection in Mademoiselle. I'm going to go ahead and take these down too. I had more lipsticks, but I'm not sure if I put them down. I don't remember which ones they were, so we're just going to move on. Here in this drawer, we have the concealers. Realistically, you guys, I haven't used my Milani Conceal and Perfect concealer. I actually, on accident, put this back in my drawer and completely forgot about it up until I was doing this video. I'm actually going to leave this up here. If you guys have been checking out any of my videos that I've recently posted, then you would know I've been using this concealer. It's not a favorite of mine, and it doesn't really wow me at all, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this back. The Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. I reached for this a few times to contour, but a lot of the times I have been using just my powders to contour, so I am going to leave this up here as well. My favorite, I literally have the most love for this. This is the NARS sculpting stick and hot sand in Laguna. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back. Over here where my face powders are, I have the Fenty Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation. I love this, you guys. Please check out my review on this. I'm going to be keeping this in my stash as well, just so I can get more use out of it. And then we are going to take the Maybelline Fit Me pressed powder, and this is in the shade 360 Mocha. This is almost empty. I'm trying to go ahead and get rid of this. I have been reaching for this. I love this. I already bought a new one and I'm ready to use that. So I'm going to keep this in my stash so I can go ahead and get rid of it. Next, I am going to take out the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Setting Powder. This is the medium deep shade, actually. I really have a loving relationship with this powder. I love the formula. It is the best drugstore loose setting powder formula in my opinion. I really want to keep this up here, but I'm going to go ahead and put it back. MAC Studio Fix powder in the shade NW55. This is what it looks like right here. Really love this, but I'm going to put it back. And I also have the NARS bronzer in the shade Laguna. You guys, I really have a love-hate relationship with this, like I mentioned in my last video. It just depends on the season on how I could use this. If my skin had lightened up, I can use this to give me a soft bronze look, just like the sculpting stick Laguna. If it is just the summertime, then I could use this for making my under eye and contour more seamless. I am going to be adding this back. I really want to keep using this. I have the Juvia's Place highlighter. This is the Tribe Highlighter Volume 3. I really want to love this, but I just got the wrong shade, so I just really can't get into it. I'm gonna put it back into my collection. So also for highlighters, I have the cream highlighter, the Becca and Champagne Pop. I really love this cream highlighter. I reached for it about 2 or 3 times since it's been up here. I'm gonna go ahead and put it back. Next, this is the Anastasia loose highlighter. I've reached for this literally every single time I had a makeup look and I had to use anything up here, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it back. Next, for blushes, I'm going to put back the NYX Sweet Cheek blush in the shade Daydream. I am going to put it back because, I mean, I've reached for it every single time I had to do a look for the most part. So we're going to give something else a chance. The ColourPop blush and Drop of a Hat. I really love this. I love the rose gold shimmers that come inside of it. It has this cute iridescent pink look to it. I really love this, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it back into my collection. Also, the L'Oreal True Match blush. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I haven't really reached for this since it's been up here. It's really just kind of been a dull moment for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this back into my collection because it's just not giving me anything. The foundation that I picked out was the Burt's Bees foundation in Goodness Glows. Either the Wet n Wild primer or this foundation in itself is the culprit for making my pores really just spill through my makeup. So I am going to put this back. It's just not doing it for me. Revolution Conceal and Define foundation. I love this foundation. This is actually one of my favorite foundations. I'm not really sure if you'll consider Revolution a drugstore brand, but they definitely have drugstore prices. I want to put this back, however, and reach for something else. I'm pretty sure I told you guys that I was going to put these eyeshadows back, but I actually ended up putting them back into my stash. This is the e.l.f. palette in Pumpkin Spice. I kind of have to have this in my everyday grabs because it is a natural, beautiful eyeshadow palette. This is one of the eyeshadow palettes that I can just reach for literally every day, or if I need to put a pop of brown in my crease or anything like that. However, I literally am really gonna be honest this time and put it back. The Revolution Rose Gold palette, I added it back to my everyday grabs because I mean, I don't know. So I'm gonna put it back, and I promise you I'm not gonna add it back up here. Natasha Denona Peak palette. This is a holy grail of mine, you guys, because literally every day, you guys should definitely check out my review on this palette. I didn't really like the look that I came up with for the review, but realistically I use this color almost in every look, and I use this color in almost in every look for under my brow bone, because some palettes just don't have a shade like this to highlight under my brow bone, and I really love to highlight under my brow bone. I'm going to go ahead and put this back because I have so many palettes that I haven't even tried yet. The KKW So Fire palette, I have not touched this since I added up here. I really want to love this palette and let this be like my everyday holy grail, but I have so many palettes with a lot of these colors in it, and I'm just gonna go ahead and add this back to my collection. The Esmeraldas palette by Beauty Creations. If you guys haven't seen my review on this palette, then you should definitely check that out. I really wanted to like this palette, but it just wasn't really doing it for me. I really wanted to like this palette, you guys, but again, it just wasn't doing it for me. Like, these shades came up a bit chalky. You know, I thought it was just this shade because it was like a peach color, but all of the matte shades pretty much came up chalky on me. The shimmers were okay, the dark matte shades were okay, but anything else was just really chalky. I'm gonna add this back. My e.l.f. Retro Paradise palette. Because I had this palette, I went ahead and bought the Retro Paradise collection. I bought a few things from that collection. I enjoyed this palette, but you know, we're gonna go ahead and put it back. Last but not least, we have the Color Story Decadence palette. This palette is so great. Like, I really love the color story in this palette. I just didn't reach for it as much as I thought I would. Like, I just didn't really reach for it, and yeah, so I'm gonna actually leave this up here because this has a lot of the browns and the nudes that I would need for like everyday looks. For primer, I'm going to add this primer oil from e.l.f. This came out in their Retro Paradise collection. I recently did a review on this. I'm going to add this to my everyday picks because it is the winter time. My skin has been a little dry. I want to have this to incorporate in my makeup. Next, I'm going to take the e.l.f. Oil Control Matte Primer. I need to have a matte primer on deck at all costs. We are going to be adding the Too Faced Hangover RX Replenishing Face Primer. You guys, I got this from Marshall's. I never tried their primer before, so I really want to try the primer. I'm going to add this to. For setting sprays, I am going to take the Morphe 2 Lil Pick Me Up Setting Mist. I really love this formula. I love what this makes my makeup feel like, and I recently purchased this, so I really want to give it a try. I only tried it out once in the video that you guys will see here. I definitely want to give this more of a try. I'm also going to take the Smashbox The Hood Wench Photo Finish Crystal Clarity Primer Water. I really love Smashbox and their primer waters. I've had this for maybe a few weeks and I haven't really tried it, so I'm going to be adding this to my everyday grabs as well. Also, this is in the scent Lavender and Sweet Orange. I'm just going to add her right here. I'm going to be taking the Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation, and I haven't grabbed it or used it in a very long time. I actually was like so stoked to even find this, so we're going to go ahead and use this. I'm going to add this way back here. I am going to be adding the Black Radiance Color Perfect liquid makeup. This is in the shade Cashmere. I really love this foundation. It's very slept on. This is only like $5. This is a beautiful drugstore foundation. I am going to be adding my Morphe 2 Hint Skin Tint. You guys, please check out my review on this. I love this formula. We're going to be adding this because I recently purchased this. I haven't really gotten a chance to just use it like a lot. And this is also in the shade Ginger. I know that the Black Radiance Color Perfect liquid makeup in Cashmere is like a tad bit too dark for me in this season, so I'm going to be using this in mixing with that. I'm going to be taking my Lash Cosmetics lippy right here, and this is in the shade Brown Sugar, and add this up to the collection. I told you guys I always have to have a dark brown. I'm also just going to be adding this back to my stash because when I looked at all of the pics that I grabbed, I realized I didn't have any nudes. So I'm sorry you guys, I definitely have to have a nude in my collection, so I'm going to double back and grab this and add this back up here. I'm also going to be taking the Huda Beauty mini matte lipstick. This is in the shade Interview. Oh, look at this, it's so cute, but I really love this shade. This is the beautifulest mauve pink tone I've seen in a long time. So I'm going to be adding this up here so I can try it out because I haven't really tried Huda Beauty lipsticks or anything in that matter. So let's go ahead and add this up here. I'm going to be taking the Physicians Formula liquid gloss. This is in the shade Fight Free. I was going to say Fight Fair, but this is in the shade Fight Free. I really love this beautiful red. That is so vibrant, so pigmented. I just have to have a red in my stash as well, so we're going to be adding her up here. I'm going to be taking my Laura Geller lipstick in the shade Astro Place. I love this beautiful shimmery color that it is. It's like this light pink color, and it has like specks of like blue in there, as you can tell. It's really pretty, so I had to just add this to the everyday picks, and I'm just going to add these two right there. And then last but not least, I have to have a gloss up here, and this is the e.l.f. lip lacquer from the Retro Paradise collection. This is in the shade Strawberry Daiquiri, and this is what it swatched like. I'm going to add it right here. It's just this beautiful sparkly nude gloss, so pretty. I have to have a gloss up here, so we're going to add her. Also, like I mentioned, I'm going to be adding my Mario Badescu setting spray up here. I'm going to be adding this mascara up here to my everyday grabs. I recently purchased this and thought it would be a good idea to just go ahead and add this. This is the W7 mascara. I mean, I don't know, you know, I'm going to try it out. This will be my first time trying a W7 anything. Like I said, I'm going to be adding the MAC Pro Longwear back up here as well. So moving on to this drawer right here, I'm going to be adding these two concealers back into the drawer. So let's just add those. And we are also going to be adding the Essence Camouflage Matte Concealer. I have the shades Golden Toffee right here to highlight. And then I also had Dark Mocha. These were literally the two darkest shades, y'all. Literally, this is the darkest shade that they have. This is the next to dark shade, but these were both like $2.99, so I definitely wanted to try them. They're really inexpensive in their drugstore concealers. This would be my first time trying Essence concealers. And that'll be everything that I have for the concealer drawer. In this drawer right here where we put our face powders, like I mentioned, I'm going to be adding these two back into that drawer. I'm also going to be adding this e.l.f. bronzer palette to the face powder drawer. Now, I know it's a bronzer palette, but e.l.f. doesn't actually make any bronzers that are dark enough for my skin tone. However, when they have these bronzer palettes, like this is in the shade Bronze Beauty, these tend to match like my highlight and face shade. I'm actually going to be using these as my face palette because I really love the formula and I love what it makes my makeup looks like. look like. I'm also going to be taking another e.l.f. bronzer that isn't actually a bronzer on me, and I am going to be using this as a face powder as well. I really like the e.l.f. bronzer formula, but I don't understand why they don't make anything that is dark enough for me, and they should, because they have dark foundations that, you know, none of their bronzers would bronze on people of those darker colors. So this is in the shade Consistently Bronze. If I haven't mentioned before, I really love this shade for my face powder, so we're just going to add this in this drawer as well. And really also in this drawer, I'm just going to go ahead and put the Laguna bronzer in this drawer as well, because it will serve more as a face powder. Now I'm going down to this drawer. This is the drawer where I do put a lot of my bronzing and contouring. So I am going to start off with the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder Palette. Who did I seen somebody with this bronzing palette on their Shop My Stash video, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go and get it. So I went and got this bronzing palette, and it's just kind of been sitting. I tried it once or twice, but other than that, it's kind of been sitting. So I definitely want to put it to use and see if I really like the formula. We're going to add this right in here. Also for bronzer, we are going to be taking the Morphe Glam Bronze in Megastar. This is what it looks like. I love how this is a dupe for the Marina Butia Sweet Brown. If you guys know what that is, then you know, like, obviously Marina Butia is a more of a luxury formula, but this is a good dupe if you cannot afford to spend $40 on the Marina Butia bronzers. This is so beautiful. I'm going to add this into the stash, the everyday grabs. We're going to be adding the Revolution matte bronzer in the shade Deep. This is just what it looks like. This bronzer is so deep. I was not expecting the bronzer to be this deep. I seen this in, I want to say I seen this in Jasmine Bullard Shop My Stash video. I only tried it about one time, so I definitely want to use it again. And I'm going to add that here. And I think that is it for this drawer. Now moving down to this drawer down here. This is where our blushes and highlighters will be. Starting off with our blushes, I am going to take the ColourPop Too Cool for School blush, and this is what it looks like. This gives me more of a really soft natural blush look, so it's just going to add color to my cheek, but not actually like a really vibrant color. It's more of a bronzy skin light shade for me, but it also gives me like a soft little glow, which is why I love it. So I'm going to add this in here. Also, I'm going to be adding the NYX Sweet Cheek Matte blush, and you guys, I just got rid of one of the Sweet Cheeks matte blushes, but this is a different one, and this is in the shade Bang Bang. Now I love this because it's like a mauve plum shade, and I really want to use this. Never used that shade before, so I can't wait to try it. Next, I'm going to be adding in one of the e.l.f. Putty blushes. I just really love this blush. These blushes are a lot more of a satin finish, and they look so beautiful. This is in the shade Fiji. The only thing I don't care for about these putty blushes is they don't have the name literally anywhere on the packaging. Like, they have the name on the box packaging, but when it comes to like this packaging, once you take it out the box, they don't have the name anywhere on these. I think these give a beautiful satin soft velvety finish, so I'm going to be adding this. We are also going to be adding the Morphe 2 Wonder Tint Cheek and Lip Mousse. This is in the shade Amaze. I really love these for the lip. I haven't really grasped how to love them on the face, which is why I'm going to be adding it to my everyday grab, so I can test it out and really get a grasp and a feel of how these work. We are going to be adding the Fenty highlighter stick in the shade Rum. This is what it looks like. I literally took this out of my stash in my last video, but I gotta add it back because I just really love this. Taking the MAC Strobe Face Glaze. I love this. It looks so beautiful, so bronze. I haven't actually tried this, but I just love the color and what it looks like, so I cannot wait to try this under my makeup. I'm going to be adding this. I am also going to be adding the Pixie Glowy Powder in the shade Wednesdays. This looks so beautiful. Wednesdays is just this beautiful pink highlighter. So let me just show you guys. Swatch that right here. It has like specks of gold in it, but in like literally reflective silvery pink shimmers. And then last but not least, for this drawer, I have the Stila Heaven's Hue highlighter. This is in the shade Bronze, and this is what it looks like. I love this. It's such a natural soft finish highlighter. I cannot run away or get away from this, so I'm just going to be adding this to my everyday grabs. So moving on to the palettes. So I'm going to start off with the Doses of D palette. I'm not sure who is D or anything like that, but this is her palette. It's just this graffiti cartoon look of her, I'm assuming, and then it's this beautiful colorful palette. I used this palette once. You guys may have seen me use this palette in one of my videos. I think that the colors and everything are beautiful. It's a really colorful palette. You guys know I don't really do too many colorful looks, but I am going to try to use it up as much as I could. Next, I am going to be taking my Profusion Sienna palette. This is what it looks like. This is just a beautiful everyday palette in my opinion. Beautiful warm tones in here. I just cannot get over these. Like, this entire row right here is just my favorite, but I love the shimmers that they have in here as well. I cannot wait to make a look with this palette. I will be making individual videos with all of these palettes. The Revolution Turkish Delight palette, you guys, I did a review on this because I couldn't believe this came out and nobody raved about it. This is the most beautiful palette I have ever seen in a very long time. I love the color story. I love the mixes and matches of colors that they put in here, and I also like how they have, you know, they have tea and squidge in here, because those are pretty much the only neutral colors that they have. I love how they're forcing us to play with these beautiful shades. It's just so beautiful. So we're going to be adding this Turkish Delight palette, and also I'm going to be adding my ColourPop Blush Crush palette. This palette is so beautiful. However, I didn't get much use out of this palette other than, you know, I probably used this palette 3 or 4 times. Other than that, I haven't really gotten much use out of it. I think the pinks in this shade in this palette is so beautiful, and because Valentine's Day is coming up, I definitely want to incorporate some of these eyeshadows in a few of my looks. And then we have the Catch the Shade eyeshadow palette from Rennie Effects. So I also did a review on this palette as well. You guys already know I was adding the Decadence palette back. So here's just another quick look. Boom. Okay guys, so this is this month's everyday grabs. These are the makeup products that I will be putting to the test for the month. I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Hit the post notification bell so you can be a part of the gang.
Disrespect her.